This audiobook reveals the ancient truth behind the universal change, the law that returns every thought you send into the cosmic waters. As you listen, you'll awaken to the realization that nothing in your life has ever been random. Your inner world has shaped it all. Stay with these words and discover the power that has been quietly creating your reality from the beginning. The Universal Change. Introduction. The universal change is the silent current moving beneath every moment of your existence, flowing through your breath, your thoughts, and the hidden chambers of your consciousness. It is not a concept to analyze, but a living pulse that responds to the subtlest tremors of your awareness. Through the ages, this truth has been guarded in symbols and whispers, known only to those who learn to listen between the beats of time. When you attune yourself to this law, you begin to witness the sacred union between your inner realm and the world that unfolds around you. Your thoughts are not fleeting sparks in the mind. They are cosmic commands, seeds cast into the boundless field of creation. The universe, in its pure neutrality, does not weigh these thoughts. It mirrors them. It reflects the tone, the frequency, the essence of your deepest vibration. Understand this. Everything in your life at this very moment is the crystallized echo of thoughts once held, beliefs once entertained. The veil of time has merely softened the connection, making many forget the origin of their own experiences. But time is only the pause between intention and bloom. What you see today is not your fate, only the residue of who you were. To transform your world, you must first transform your energy. Joy is not the outcome of blessings. It is the magnetic frequency that summons them. When you choose joy deliberately, unwaveringly, you send a new resonance through the cosmos. Hold this elevated state for 7 days, and you will feel reality begin to reconfigure itself in your favor with unwavering fidelity. This is not fantasy nor hopeful imagination. It is the remembering of your true nature as a conscious architect of experience. The law of attraction moves with mathematical purity, translating your energetic imprint into form. You are not learning a foreign teaching. You are awakening to the truth your soul has always carried. You are the one who shapes worlds with the quiet power of your perception. The power has never left you. Now is the moment to return to it. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Intention. Chapter 1. The Whisper Beneath the Noise. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, a young woman named Eliza wandered between stalls, searching for answers in the endless stream of activity. Each morning she would rush from teacher to teacher, gathering wisdom like scattered coins. Yet peace eluded her grasp. Until one dawn, exhausted from her endless seeking, she found herself in an abandoned garden. There, in the unexpected quiet, something shifted. As the morning mist lifted, Eliza noticed how dewdrops transformed into prisms of light. In that moment of stillness, she felt the universe speak not in words, but in the language of presence. Her racing thoughts settled like leaves after a storm, and for the first time, she understood. The answers she sought had always been within, waiting in the silence. The law of attraction flows most purely through a quiet mind. When you still the waters of thought, you become a clear channel for universal wisdom. Like a lake at dawn, an untroubled mind reflects the sky perfectly. This is the state where manifestation begins, not in constant doing, but in conscious being. High in the mountains, a bird named Azure struggled against fierce winds, exhausting itself with frantic wing beats. A wise elder bird watched until Azure, too tired to continue fighting, finally surrendered. In that moment of release, Azure discovered what the elder knew. The wind itself provided the lift needed to soar. The very force it had fought became its greatest ally. You are like Azure, learning that resistance creates struggle while acceptance reveals power. The universe does not require your strain and effort. It invites your trust and alignment. When you cease the internal battle, you discover that the flow of life itself carries you toward your desires. Sacred practice, the twilight communion. As darkness embraces the day, find a quiet space. For 5 minutes, let each breath become a gentle conversation with the infinite. Release the day's noise with every exhale. Receive universal wisdom with each inhale. This is not meditation for emptiness, but for reception. In this sacred stillness, let the whispers of divine guidance find their way to your listening heart. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Belief. In a small village among rolling hills lived a merchant named Samuel. Each morning he would gaze into his shop window, not seeing the valuable wares within, but the reflection of his own troubled expression. "Nothing ever works in my favor," he would whisper, and as if commanded by these words, his day would unfold exactly as he feared. When customers entered his shop, he anticipated their complaints before they spoke. When he counted his earnings, he focused on what was missing rather than what was gained. His prophecies of misfortune manifested with such precision that he failed to notice his role as their architect. The law of attraction operates with unfailing accuracy, transforming your deepest beliefs into living experience. Your mind is the master artist, painting reality with the colors of your convictions. Each thought you hold becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of existence, creating the masterpiece you call life. You may protest that your circumstances are beyond your control, yet this very belief ensures they remain so. The universe responds not to your wishes or wants, but to the unwavering signal of your beliefs. It is the faithful printer, producing countless copies of whatever negative you insert. In the same village lived a gardener named Maya. Each spring, she would plant 2 identical gardens. The first she tended with love and absolute certainty, speaking to each seed as if it were already a flourishing plant. The second she approached with doubt, questioning whether the soil was rich enough or the season favorable. Without fail, the first garden would burst with life, while the second produced meager results, though both received the same sunlight and rain. Your reality mirrors your deepest convictions with the same precision. When you understand this truth, judgment transforms into opportunity. Each unwanted circumstance becomes a messenger, revealing a belief ready for transformation. Practice, the ancient mirror reflection. As you prepare for sleep tonight, speak these words with quiet authority. Life shows me what I believe. Rather than resisting what appears before you, embrace it as feedback from the universe. Let gratitude replace criticism, knowing that each reflection offers a chance to adjust the image you hold within. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, realigns your inner mirror, allowing new reflections to emerge in the light of transformed belief. Chapter 3: The Currency of Feeling. In an ancient marketplace, a young merchant named Layla counted her growing wealth each evening. Her calculations were precise, her strategies flawless. Yet as her coffers swelled, an emptiness grew within her heart. Though she spoke the right words of abundance and followed every principle of prosperity, her success felt hollow, like a beautiful shell without its pearl. You see, in the sacred science of manifestation, logic alone cannot bridge the gap between desire and reality. Your thoughts may chart the course, but it is your emotions that set the sails catching the winds of creation. The universe responds not to the words you speak, but to the feeling tone beneath them. When you align your emotional frequency with your desires, you become as a tuning fork, resonating with the very essence of what you wish to attract. This is why two people may speak identical words of intention, yet harvest vastly different results. One speaks from the head, the other from the heart. One broadcasts static, the other a clear signal. Picture a garden where thoughts are the seeds and emotions the rich soil that nurtures them to life. Without the warmth of genuine feeling, even the most carefully planted intentions lie dormant. But when you water them with joy, gratitude, and passionate belief, they burst forth with unstoppable vitality. In a distant valley lived Maya, a celebrated dancer whose performances moved audiences to tears. When her heart was broken, her dancing became technically perfect, but emotionally barren. Night after night, she executed flawless movements that touched no one, not even herself. Until one evening, overwhelmed by memory, she allowed her grief to flow through her dance. In that moment of raw authenticity, her art transcended technique to become pure magic. The audience wept, not for her sorrow, but for her courage to feel deeply. Just as Maya discovered, your true power lies not in perfect execution, but in emotional truth. When you infuse your intentions with genuine feeling, you speak directly to the creative force of the universe. Your emotions are the language of manifestation, the current that carries your desires from thought to form. The practice passed down through generations of wisdom keepers remains surprisingly simple. Each morning, as the sun rises, sit quietly and summon a genuine moment of happiness. It might be a cherished memory, a dream of what's to come, or simple appreciation for the breath in your lungs. Allow this feeling to expand through your chest, like warmth spreading from your heart. Let gratitude hum through every cell, training your entire being to vibrate at the frequency of abundance. This is not mere visualization. It is emotional alchemy, transforming your energetic signature to match the reality you wish to create. Chapter 4: The Art of Letting Go. In a bustling coastal town, a fisherman named Adnan spent his days obsessively checking weather reports, adjusting his nets, and recalculating optimal sailing times. Despite his meticulous planning, his catches grew smaller, while anxiety consumed his nights. Each morning, he would scan the horizon for perfect conditions, often missing the abundant schools of fish that swam past his idle boat. The need to control every aspect of your journey creates resistance to the very abundance you seek. When you grasp too tightly at outcomes, you constrict the infinite channels through which the universe can deliver your desires. This tension between your will and universal flow stems from a fundamental misunderstanding. You believe that surrender means giving up, when in truth it means opening up to greater possibilities. The law of attraction operates through cooperation, not force. Like water finding its path to the ocean, manifestation flows most powerfully when you align with universal currents rather than fighting against them. Your role is not to orchestrate every detail, but to set clear intentions and then allow the wisdom of the universe to arrange the perfect circumstances for their fulfillment. Trust is not passive, it is the highest form of power. When you release your grip on the how, you free the universe to utilize all its infinite resources on your behalf. This surrender requires courage, for it asks you to step into the unknown while maintaining unwavering faith in the outcome. On a windy afternoon, a young boy named Karim brought his new kite to the meadow. For hours he struggled to make it fly, pulling and yanking the strings with determination. His father watched quietly before approaching. "Let the wind do its work," he said, showing Karim how to hold the string loosely. The moment Karim relaxed his grip, the kite soared higher than he had imagined possible, dancing with the currents of air in perfect harmony. This simple truth applies to all your desires. Like Karim's kite, your dreams require both your intention and your willingness to let them find their natural path. When you trust the universe's timing and methods, you enter into a state of allowing, where manifestation becomes effortless and joy-filled. The ancient practice of release. As twilight approaches, find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and close your eyes. Imagine invisible cords wrapped tightly around your hands. These represent your attachment to controlling outcomes. Feel the tension these bonds create, not just in your hands, but throughout your entire being. Now slowly begin to untie these ethereal knots, one by one. With each release, whisper the sacred words, "I release and allow." Notice how freedom rises within you, replacing anxiety with calm authority. Let this sensation of peaceful surrender wash over you until you feel completely unburdened. Chapter 5. The Magnet of Words. Along the winding streets of an ancient market, a merchant named Millie charmed passers-by with witty banter. Her stall overflowed with vibrant fabrics, yet her clever self-deprecation drew more attention than her wares. "Oh, I'm just getting by," she would say with a laugh, "or business is slow, but that's my luck." Though customers smiled at her humor, they rarely purchased, unconsciously heeding her words' hidden command. Your words are not mere sounds scattered to the wind. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. Each syllable carries a frequency that ripples through the fabric of creation, instructing reality how to arrange itself. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not distinguish between jest and earnest declaration. It simply responds to the vibration you offer. Think of your speech as a paintbrush, coloring the canvas of your experience. When you declare, "I can't," "It's impossible," or "That's just my luck," you are not describing your reality. You are creating it. These seemingly innocent phrases become prophecies, for the law of attraction knows no irony. In the mountains lived a young singer named Maya, who performed sorrowful ballads of loss and longing. Her mournful melodies drew tears from audiences, But more significantly, they drew experiences that matched her lyrics. As her songs spoke of heartbreak, so did her life echo with disappointment. One day, a wise elder suggested she sing of hope instead. Initially resistant, Maya gradually transformed her repertoire. As her lyrics shifted to speak of joy and fulfillment, her life began to mirror this new vibration. Her career soared, love flourished, and abundance flowed, all following the path laid by her chosen words. This truth extends beyond formal performance. Every casual comment, every idle observation shapes your tomorrow. Your words are not descriptions but prescriptions, not observations but orders to the universe. When you understand this power, you recognize that every conversation is a prayer, every utterance an incantation. The universe mirrors your verbal vibration with perfect precision. Those who speak of struggle find more reasons to struggle. Those who declare abundance witness its multiplication. This is not coincidence but cosmic law. Your words are the seeds from which your future grows. The practice. Before speaking, envision your words as golden light emanating from your heart. Let each phrase glow with conscious intention before releasing it into the world. Feel the weight and power of your speech as it travels outward, blessing the very air that carries it toward manifestation. This practice transforms ordinary conversation into sacred creation, ensuring your words align with your highest desires. Chapter 6. The Compass of Joy. In a city of gleaming towers and measured steps, Gordon charted each hour with calculated precision. His days unfolded like a ledger, ordered, predictable, and devoid of whimsy. "Life is serious business," he would say, straightening his tie before another meticulously planned day. Yet, with each passing season, his world grew increasingly monochrome, until even the sun seemed to shine in shades of gray. The law of attraction responds not to your actions alone, but to the frequency you emanate. When you approach life with stern solemnity, believing that success demands suffering, you tune yourself to a channel of struggle. The universe, ever faithful to your signal, delivers experiences that match your somber broadcast. Joy is not a reward for achievement. It is the very frequency of creation itself. When you observe the natural world, you witness this truth in action. Birds don't sing because they're successful. They're successful because they sing. Flowers don't bloom as a result of hard work. Their very blossoming is an expression of nature's exuberance. The universe itself operates in a state of perpetual celebration. In the heart of an old clockmaker's district lived Master Chen, whose timepieces had stopped marking the hours. Day after day he labored with furrowed brow, his skilled hands moving through familiar motions that yielded nothing but silence. One morning, his granddaughter's laughter echoed through his workshop as she spun in circles, mimicking the clock hands she'd watched him adjust so often. Something in that sound awakened a memory in Master Chen, the pure delight he'd once felt at the dance of gears and springs. He began to hum as he worked, his movements becoming lighter, more playful. One by one, the clocks stirred to life, their ticking joining his melody in perfect harmony. This tale speaks to your own relationship with the universal force. When you approach your desires with gravity and tension, you create resistance in the very field meant to support you. But when you allow joy to lead your way, you align with the natural state of creation. Your delight becomes a tuning fork, adjusting your frequency to match the abundance that awaits you. The wisdom keepers of old understood this truth. Joy is not the destination. It is the path itself. Each moment of genuine pleasure aligns you more perfectly with the creative force of the universe. Your laughter is a prayer, your smile a beacon that guides manifestation home. Practice. Begin a joy journal, not as a record of achievements, but as a daily attunement to bliss. Each evening, write one moment that sparked genuine delight, no matter how small. A sunbeam dancing on your coffee cup, a stranger's kind gesture, the perfect note in a favorite song. This practice shifts joy from reward to guidance, training your attention to recognize the frequency of creation in your daily life. Let each entry remind you that in moments of pure pleasure, you are most perfectly aligned with the universal source. Chapter 7. The River Knows the Way. A weaver sat at her loom, her fingers flying across the threads with frantic determination. Lucy worked from sunrise to moonrise, convinced that faster meant better, that hurry meant progress. With each passing day her tapestry grew, but the patterns showed signs of strain. Knots where there should be smooth transitions, tension where there should be grace. The harder she pushed, the more mistakes appeared, until one morning she found her masterpiece unraveling at the edges. Her haste had weakened the very fabric she sought to perfect. Within the vast tapestry of existence, time flows not by mortal measure, but by divine orchestration. Your place in this grand weaving is assured. Yet when you wrestle against its rhythm, you create resistance where harmony should dwell. The universe operates on perfect timing, not your timing, but the timing that serves the highest good of all. Every forced action creates an equal pushback. Every strained effort births its own obstacle. When you rush toward your desires, treating time as an enemy to be conquered, you move against the current of universal flow. This resistance manifests as exhaustion, frustration, and a peculiar emptying of joy from even your successes. In a coastal village lived an old fisherman who never hurried. While others raced their boats out at dawn, he sat quietly on the shore, reading the winds and waters. When he finally set sail, it was with such precise timing that his nets filled effortlessly, catching the exact moment when fish swam abundant. The other fishermen watched in wonder as he brought in rich harvests with half their effort. "The fish were always there," he would say, waiting for someone wise enough to arrive at the right moment. His story mirrors an eternal truth. Abundance flows not to those who chase it most frantically, but to those who align with its natural rhythm. The universe doesn't reward speed. It rewards resonance. Your timing isn't wrong. Your path isn't delayed. You're exactly where you need to be for your next step to unfold perfectly. When you release the grip of hurry, you allow universal intelligence to guide your movements with elegant precision. The practice. Find a quiet space and imagine yourself as a leaf floating on a gentle stream. Feel the water supporting you, carrying you effortlessly toward your destination. Breathe deeply and whisper, "Life carries me perfectly." Let this become your mantra until you feel struggle softening into trust, until resistance melts into laughter at how simple it all becomes when you stop fighting time's sacred flow. Chapter 8. The Frequency of Gratitude. In a modest dwelling at the edge of town lived Wendell, a man whose words wove webs of lack around his life. "Never enough," he would mutter, counting his coins. "Always too little," he would sigh, surveying his stores. Each utterance cast shadows over the abundance waiting to enter his world. When asked about his work, Wendell would say, "Business is slow." When friends inquired about his health, he would reply, "Could be better." His words became prophecy, each complaint materializing in ever more tangible forms until his reality matched his narrative of insufficiency. The universe speaks in the language of acknowledgement. What you recognize grows. What you appreciate appreciates. This is not mere wordplay, but the fundamental architecture of manifestation. Your gratitude serves as a signal to the universal mind that you are ready to receive more. When you thank the universe for what exists now, you unlock the storehouse of what is yet to come. Think of your words of appreciation as keys that fit perfectly into the locks of abundance. Each thank you turns another lock, opening another door through which prosperity can flow. The universe does not respond to need or want. It responds to recognition and gratitude. A baker named Thomas once found himself with empty shelves and a handful of customers. Instead of lamenting his situation, he began thanking his empty bakery as though it were full. "Thank you for the space to create," he would say to his quiet shop. "Thank you for the customers who will come," he whispered to empty chairs. His neighbors thought him touched by madness, until slowly, mysteriously, the chairs began to fill. Loaves multiplied. Customers appeared, and abundance flowed. All because he had thanked it into being. The universe delights in such paradox, that giving thanks for what seems absent can make it present. Your gratitude is not a reaction to abundance. It is the magnetic force that draws abundance near. Every thank you plants a seed that must, by universal law, blossom into manifestation. In your own life, what appears as scarcity is simply abundance awaiting recognition. The very act of appreciation shifts your vibration from lack to abundance, from wanting to having. This is not positive thinking. It is spiritual physics. The ancient practice. Each dawn, face the rising sun and speak gratitude for blessings yet unseen. Begin with, "I thank you for," and let your heart complete the phrase. Continue until you feel warmth spreading through your chest. This sensation is the vibrational signature of manifestation beginning its work. Your appreciation has become a beacon, calling forth the very things you thank. Chapter 9. The Alignment of Action. In the heart of an ancient village, a woman spent her days weaving elaborate visions of triumph, while her loom gathered dust in the corner. Each morning, she pictured herself creating magnificent tapestries that would adorn palace walls. Yet when evening fell, not a single thread had been pulled through her needle. Her name was Dorothy, and her dreams remained suspended in the realm of imagination, waiting for the perfect moment to manifest. The wind whispers an eternal truth. Thought without movement creates no ripples in the ocean of possibility. Your visions, no matter how pristine, must be clothed in action to walk among the living. The universe responds not to contemplation alone, but to the dance between intention and movement. When inspiration touches you, it arrives as a divine spark seeking expression through your hands. Each impulse carries the seed of creation, waiting to be planted in the soil of physical reality. These moments of inspiration are sacred conversations between your spirit and the infinite. They are the universe extending an invitation to co-create. Many believe that preparation must be exhaustive before taking the first step. Yet wisdom teaches that action itself is the highest form of preparation. The path appears not before your feet, but beneath them as you walk. Your movement activates the magnetic force of attraction, drawing to you the very resources, connections, and opportunities your vision requires. In a distant studio, a painter named Alexandra received a vision of a masterpiece. Unlike others who would sketch and plan for months, she immediately lifted her brush. "The vision comes complete," she would say, "requiring only my willingness to serve as its channel." Her swift response to inspiration became her signature, not waiting for certainty but dancing with the mystery of creation. This tale mirrors your own journey. Each impulse that stirs within you is a thread in the universal tapestry, waiting to be woven through your actions. When you honor these gentle nudges with immediate response, you demonstrate trust in the wisdom that guides you. Your movement becomes a prayer, your action an affirmation. The law reveals itself. Inspiration answered breeds more inspiration. Each step taken in faith multiplies into 1,000 opportunities. The universe delights not in your hesitation, but in your willing participation in the dance of creation. Practice. Choose one intuitive prompt each day and respond with immediate action, however small. Feel the thrill of alignment as you transform energy into evidence through decisive movement. Let each step become a celebration of trust, each action a testament to your faith in the perfect unfolding of your path. Chapter 10. The Sanctuary Within. In a bustling market square, a merchant named Ray moved swiftly between his 3 shops, checking locks and counting inventory. Though his shelves overflowed with precious goods and his strong boxes brimmed with gold, a shadow of unease followed him like a persistent autumn wind. Each new acquisition brought momentary peace, yet by sunrise, the familiar knot of worry returned to his chest. Through countless seasons, Ray had built walls of wealth around himself, believing security lay in what he could hold and store. Yet with each passing year, his anxiety grew stronger, driving him to seek larger shops, thicker walls, stronger locks. The more he gathered, the more he feared losing it all. Know this truth: security cannot be found in the shifting sands of external circumstance. What you possess will always remain separate from who you are. True safety emerges from the unwavering light of consciousness within you, that eternal presence that observes both storm and calm with equal steadiness. When waves crash against the shore, they cannot disturb the depths of the ocean. Similarly, life's uncertainties cannot shake your essential nature. The present moment, fully embraced, becomes an unbreakable shelter. Within its walls, you discover that safety was never about what you owned, but about owning your attention. Picture a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves. Its light remains constant, unmoved by the fury of the storm. This is your consciousness, the unwavering awareness that watches thoughts and circumstances come and go. No external force can diminish this light. No circumstance can shake this foundation. A wandering monk once passed through Ray's market. Noticing the merchant's distress, he shared a simple truth. The home you seek cannot be built, bought, or bartered for. It already exists in the space between your thoughts, in the silence beneath your breathing. Your true wealth lies not in what you guard, but in your capacity to remain present with what is. The universal mind has gifted you with an eternal refuge, the sacred space of now. When you rest in conscious presence, anxiety dissolves like morning mist in sunlight. Your body becomes a temple, your breath a prayer, your attention a sanctuary. Daily practice. Find a quiet moment and place your palm gently over your heart. Breathe deeply and whisper the words, "I am home now." Feel the steady rhythm of your heartbeat align with the infinite presence within. Let each beat remind you that true safety resides in this moment, in this breath, in this awareness that watches all things pass while remaining forever unchanged. Part 2. The Expansion of Awareness. Chapter 11. The Bridge of Trust. A weaver sat at her loom, threads of golden possibility spread before her. Yet Nora's hands remained still, frozen by the whispers of doubt that echoed through her mind. What if the pattern fails? What if the colors fade? What if... And so the masterpiece remained unwoven, existing only in the realm of dreams. The universe speaks through vibration, and doubt carries its own frequency. Each moment of hesitation sends ripples through the fabric of creation, telling the universal mind to pause, to withdraw, to mirror your uncertainty. Trust is not blind faith, but rather the natural state of energy and motion. Like water flowing downstream, it requires no effort, only the release of resistance. When you understand that trust is neither positive nor negative, but simply the medium through which all manifestation flows, you free yourself from the burden of proof. The universal law operates whether you believe in gravity or question its existence. Your trust or doubt merely determines your experience of the fall. Think of the tightrope walker suspended between towers. The rope exists regardless of their confidence. Their trust doesn't create the rope. It allows them to cross it. In the same way, your trust doesn't create possibility. It permits you to experience what already exists in the infinite field of potential. Consider the tale of the master gardener who plants in winter. She does not doubt the spring, though no evidence of its approach exists in the frozen ground. Her trust is not hope, but knowledge of an unchanging law. The seeds beneath the snow require no convincing to sprout. They simply align with the rhythm of emergence. The universal mind responds not to your wishes, but to your vibrational stance. Trust is the frequency that aligns you with the natural flow of manifestation. When you vibrate at the level of trust, you become a clear channel through which possibility flows into form. A wandering mystic once asked a puzzled Nora, "Do you trust that the sun will rise tomorrow?" When she nodded, he smiled and said, "Yet you have no proof of tomorrow's dawn. You simply align with the pattern you've observed. Apply this same knowing to all you desire." Trust operates as the invisible bridge between thought and form. Each step you take in trust, no matter how small, strengthens this bridge. The universe does not require your understanding to function. It asks only for your alignment. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Envision before you a bridge made of pure light, its name written in gleaming letters, Trust. Feel its solid presence beneath your feet as you begin to walk across. With each step, notice how the bridge materializes just as your foot needs it. Your breath remains steady, calm. The air around you hums with possibility. There is no need to see the other side, only to know that each step brings its own support. Let this bridge become real in your inner vision until you feel its truth in your cells. Trust is the path that appears as you walk it. Chapter 12. The Language of Symbols. Along a winding mountain path, a merchant named Archie rushed through his days, missing the whispers of wisdom that floated on every breeze. Each morning, a white dove perched on his windowsill. Each afternoon, the scent of jasmine wafted through his garden, and each evening the same melody drifted from a distant flute. Yet, in his haste, these gentle taps from the universe went unnoticed, like letters left unopened. The world speaks in patterns, creating a sacred dialogue between your consciousness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all existence. These patterns emerge not by chance, but through the precise orchestration of universal law. When you attune yourself to this hidden language, life transforms from a series of random events into an unfolding conversation with the divine. Your reality is an intricate tapestry of meaningful coincidences, each thread carefully woven to catch your attention. The number that appears 3 times in one day, the book that falls open to exactly the page you need, the stranger who speaks the very words you've been pondering. These are not accidents, but the universe engaging in intimate dialogue with your awakening awareness. In a distant village lived a messenger who delivered letters not by addresses, but by following the subtle signs that led him to each recipient. A butterfly would guide him left. A falling leaf would direct him right, until he found himself exactly where he needed to be. Those who doubted his method never received their messages, while those who understood that wisdom flows through nature's symbols always found their letters waiting. This messenger knew what Archie would soon discover, that the universe constantly adjusts its signals to match your level of receptivity. When you acknowledge one sign, 10 more appear. When you express gratitude for a coincidence, synchronicity multiplies. The language of the universe becomes clearer with each moment of recognition. You are not separate from this divine conversation. Every symbol that catches your eye, every recurring theme in your day, every strange coincidence serves as a bridge between your conscious mind and the infinite intelligence that surrounds you. These patterns form a sacred alphabet through which the universe spells out your next steps, confirms your path, or gently redirects your course. The practice. Each time you notice a recurring symbol, number, word, or theme, pause and acknowledge its presence. Speak to it as you would greet a trusted guide. Thank you for appearing in my life. I recognize your significance and welcome your message. Keep a small notebook of these patterns, watching how they weave together to illuminate your path. Through this simple practice, you transform from a passive observer into an active participant in the cosmic dialogue that shapes your destiny. Chapter 13. The Power of Perspective. In a village among ancient hills, Opal crafted exquisite pottery. Each morning she would shape clay with skilled hands, yet when a piece emerged differently than planned, darkness clouded her spirit. One day, as she prepared to smash what she deemed a misshapen bowl, an old sage appeared at her workshop door. "That vessel holds wisdom," he said softly. Opal scoffed, holding up the bowl's uneven rim. but the sage filled it with water, and in the liquid's reflection, Opal saw how the bowl's unique curves created mesmerizing patterns she had never intended, yet were more beautiful than her original design. Your experience of reality flows not from events themselves, but through the lens through which you view them. The universe operates through perfect law, yet your perception determines whether you recognize the gift within each moment. When you label an experience as failure, you transmit that frequency into the universal field, attracting more situations that match your expectation of disappointment. What you call misfortune often carries seeds of transformation. Each challenge arrives precisely calibrated to elevate your consciousness, if you possess the wisdom to perceive it as such. Your point of view becomes your point of attraction, shaping the very fabric of your reality through the magnetic power of focused attention. In a distant city lived a photographer named Maya, who lost her livelihood when floods damaged her studio. Instead of surrendering to despair, she ventured out after the rains. In puddles that others avoided, she discovered perfect reflections of buildings and sky, images more compelling than any she had captured before. Her disaster had guided her to an entirely new artistic vision, one that brought her greater success than she had known before. This truth speaks directly to your own journey. What appears as setback contains hidden opportunity. The universe never operates against you. It responds with perfect precision to your dominant vibration. When you shift your perception, you alter the frequency you transmit, and therefore what you attract. The key lies not in denying challenge, but in expanding your awareness to recognize the growth it offers. Each moment of contrast serves as an invitation to choose again, to select a perspective that empowers rather than diminishes. Practice. When circumstances seem to oppose your desires, pause and ask yourself, what if this serves me? Let this question open your awareness to hidden possibilities. Feel how this shift in perception lightens your energy, allowing new solutions to emerge. Make this your daily meditation, transforming what appears as obstacle into stepping stones toward your highest good. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Circle of Giving. A merchant named Frank guarded his wealth like a fortress, counting coins behind locked doors each night. His hands grew stiff from clutching, his heart heavy with fear of loss. Each request for aid seemed a threat to his security, until the day he witnessed a peculiar sight in the marketplace. The universe speaks through patterns of flow, not patterns of possession. When you grasp too tightly at what you have, you interrupt the natural circulation of abundance. This truth reveals itself in every aspect of creation, from the breath that must be released to receive fresh air, to the seasons that must surrender their gifts to begin anew. Frank's resistance to giving arose from a fundamental misunderstanding, that abundance is finite, that generosity depletes rather than multiplies. Yet the law of circulation teaches otherwise. What flows out must flow back, often returned tenfold. This is not mere mysticism, but the very architecture of universal abundance. Consider how a tree releases its fruits without reservation. It does not count each apple or grain, nor does it withhold in fear of depletion. In its giving, it affirms the endless cycle of abundance. Your wealth, like the tree's fruits, multiplies through distribution rather than hoarding. In a distant monastery, a young monk named Thomas guarded the sacred flame, the source of light for all temple ceremonies. One stormy night, pilgrims arrived seeking shelter, each carrying an unlit candle. Thomas hesitated, fearing that sharing his flame would diminish its power. Yet as he touched his candle to theirs, he witnessed a miracle. The light grew stronger with each sharing, until the entire temple blazed with warmth and radiance. This simple truth illuminates your path to abundance. Giving does not diminish your light. It magnifies it. Each act of generosity creates a channel through which greater abundance can flow. When you give freely, you declare to the universe your trust in its unlimited supply. The monk's candle teaches what your heart already knows, that true wealth multiplies through sharing. Every genuine act of giving sends ripples through the fabric of existence, creating pathways for abundance to return. This is not sacrifice, but investment in the cosmic law of circulation. Ancient practice. Each morning, commit to one spontaneous act of giving. Let it arise naturally, without calculation or expectation. As you give, feel the energy of abundance flowing through you, knowing that each gift creates a circuit of infinite return. Watch how the universe responds, not with depletion, but with multiplication of your blessings. Chapter 15. The Dialogue of Desire. In a quiet mountain village, Sadie lived a life of self-denial, pushing away her deepest yearnings as though they were sins to be buried. Each time her heart whispered of dreams, she silenced it with stern reproach, believing that wanting was a mark of selfishness. She moved through her days like a shadow, taking only what was offered, never daring to ask for more. The whispers of your soul are not random disturbances. They are sacred messages from the infinite. When desire rises within you, it speaks with the voice of creation itself. This is a truth that has echoed through the ages. Your longings are divine instruction, cosmic blueprints seeking expression through your unique being. You have been taught to view desire as selfishness, to equate wanting with greed. Yet this misunderstands the very nature of universal expansion, the force that grows flowers toward sunlight, that draws rivers to oceans, that spins galaxies in their cosmic dance. This same force lives in your desires. When you feel a pure longing stir within, you are experiencing the universe's impulse to grow, to create, to become more. Each authentic desire carries within it the seed of its own fulfillment. Like a flower already contained within its seed, your yearnings hold the pattern of their manifestation. The key lies not in suppressing these sacred promptings, but in recognizing them as divine collaboration. In a sun-drenched studio, there lived a painter who listened to her deepest yearnings. Each time her heart called for a new color, a different brush, an unexplored technique, she honored that pull. Her cravings for expression became bridges between inspiration and creation. Through her willingness to want boldly, masterpieces flowed from her hands, each canvas a testament to desire's holy purpose. The paintings that moved through her weren't mere products of skill. They were born from the courage to want, to reach, to express. Her art touched others deeply, precisely because it emerged from authentic longing rather than dutiful technique. Through her example, we see that desire, when pure, serves as a channel for divine creativity. Your desires are not obstacles to overcome. They are invitations to co-create. When you silence your yearnings, You dampen the voice of the infinite speaking through you. Each authentic desire serves as a compass point, guiding you toward your highest expression. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably. Place one hand over your heart and speak these words for each desire that arises. This too is holy. Continue until you feel delight replace shame, until your wanting becomes a sacred communion with the infinite. Let each yearning be acknowledged as a divine whisper, calling you toward greater life expression. Chapter 16. The Law of Contrast. In the bustling marketplace, Norman stood before his empty merchant stall, cursing the rain that had ruined his carefully arranged display. His finest silks lay sodden, their brilliant colors bleeding into muddy puddles. With clenched fists, he railed against the heavens, blind to the truth that would soon transform his understanding. When you encounter what you do not want, you activate powerful recognition of what you do want. The universe speaks through contrast, painting shadows to reveal light's brilliance. Each obstacle serves as a divine messenger, carrying clarity wrapped in temporary discomfort. Your resistance to unwanted circumstances sharpens the blade of desire, carving precise pathways toward your true preferences. The law of attraction responds not to your words of complaint, but to the vivid picture of improvement that frustration sketches in your mind. Every no births a stronger yes. Each barrier becomes a stepping stone leading to greater clarity. The universe delights in using contrast to guide you, knowing that diamonds of desire form under the pressure of opposition. Deep in the mountains lived Raven, a miner who followed veins of resistance rather than fleeing them. While others abandoned difficult terrain, he recognized that the hardest rock often guarded the richest treasures. Each layer of stone that resisted his pickaxe told him he drew closer to his goal. The more the earth opposed him, the more certain he became of precious deposits nearby. Through this wisdom, he discovered the richest diamond mine in the region, not despite the obstacles, but because of them. Just as Raven read resistance as a map to riches, you can interpret each unwanted circumstance as a signpost pointing toward your true desires. When you curse the rain, you clarify your preference for sunshine. When you resist lack, you define the exact shape of abundance you seek. The universe has not placed obstacles in your path to block you, but to guide you with exquisite precision toward what you truly desire. Your frustrations are not punishments. They are instruments of refinement. Each unwanted experience polishes the lens through which you view your preferred reality. The clearer your understanding of what you don't want, the more powerfully you attract what you do want. Practice. Sit quietly each evening and select one frustration from your day. Place your hand over your heart and speak these words. Thank you, messenger of contrast, for showing me what I prefer instead. Feel how the irritation dissolves into clarity as you recognize its gift of guidance. Let each obstacle become a torch illuminating your path to greater alignment. Chapter 17. The Balance of Receiving. In a small village among rolling hills, Vera spent her days tending to others' needs. Her hands were always full, with soup for the ill, blankets for the cold, coins for the desperate. Yet when neighbors brought dishes to her door or offered aid during her own times of need, she turned away their kindness with practiced deflection. "I couldn't possibly," she would say, or "please, Give it to someone who truly needs it. Though her heart overflowed with giving, it remained tightly sealed against receiving. The flow of life moves in perfect circles. Like breath itself, the universe operates through continuous exchange, the inhale as sacred as the exhale. When you resist receiving, you create a dam in the river of abundance, blocking not only your own nourishment, but restricting the joy others find in giving. Your worth is not measured by what you give alone, but by your willingness to complete the circle of exchange. Many believe receiving implies weakness or creates obligation. This illusion stems from misunderstanding the nature of universal flow. The sun does not apologize for accepting the earth's gravity, nor does the flower feel ashamed for drinking rain. Each element in nature understands that receiving enables giving. They are two wings of the same bird. In a distant temple lived a renowned healer named Maya, who devoted decades to curing others' ailments. She worked tirelessly until exhaustion left her bedridden. As she lay weak and feverish, her first instinct was to refuse the apprentices who came to tend her. But in a moment of clarity, she recognized that by accepting their care, she offered them the gift of giving. Her surrender to receiving became their opportunity to grow. As Maya allowed herself to be healed, she taught the most powerful lesson of her life, that grace flows both ways. Your openness to receiving is a measure of self-worth. When you deflect kindness, you quietly announce to the universe that you believe yourself undeserving. Each no to receiving whispers, "I am not worthy," to the cosmic forces that orchestrate abundance. Yet each yes declares your alignment with the natural order of give and take. The universe seeks balance in all things. When you only give, you create energetic debt that must be repaid. When you learn to receive gracefully, you restore harmony to the equation of exchange. Your acceptance of kindness becomes a gift to the giver, completing the circuit of blessing that powers all of life. Practice. She practices saying thank you without deflection, letting grace settle unquestioned. Chapter 18. The Pattern of Patience. A merchant traveled each morning to the marketplace, cursing every red signal and slow-moving cart that delayed his journey. Clyde carried this same spirit, treating each moment of waiting as a personal affront. When his desires didn't manifest instantly, he abandoned them, believing the universe had denied his request. Like seeds repeatedly dug up to check for sprouting, his intentions never took root. The law of attraction operates through natural cycles of gestation. Just as an oak requires seasons to emerge from an acorn, your desires follow divine timing that cannot be rushed. Each pause in manifestation serves as sacred preparation, the invisible arrangement of circumstances that will birth your good in its perfect form. When you resist these periods of apparent inaction, you create turbulence in the field of possibilities. Impatience broadcasts doubt to the universe, suggesting that what you've asked for may not arrive. This vibration of mistrust interrupts the very forces working on your behalf. Consider the butterfly within its chrysalis. To the untrained eye, the cocoon appears still and lifeless. Yet within that sacred chamber, profound transformation occurs. If you were to tear open the cocoon prematurely, hoping to speed the butterfly's emergence, you would destroy the very miracle in progress. The waiting itself is essential to the becoming. Your desires are undergoing similar metamorphosis in the quantum field. What appears as delay is actually divine preparation, the precise orchestration of elements required for your highest good. Each moment of waiting carries purpose, weaving together the threads of circumstance that will support your manifestation's full expression. A master potter knows that clay must rest between shapings. A vintner understands that wine requires darkness and time to develop its complex notes. A composer recognizes that pauses in music are not empty spaces, but pregnant moments that give meaning to the notes themselves. Your manifestations follow this same natural law. They must breathe, settle, and integrate before emerging into form. The practice. At a time when restlessness rises within you, find a quiet space. Place both hands over your heart and take 3 deep breaths. With each exhalation, whisper softly, "Delay is preparation." Feel the sacred weight of these words until waiting becomes an act of faith rather than frustration. Let each pause remind you that the universe is silently orchestrating your good in ways your human mind cannot yet comprehend. Chapter 19. The Echo of Appreciation. In a distant village, a young woman named Flora lived beside a crystal-clear spring that flowed ceaselessly. Each morning, the water sang its gentle melody, offering life to all who visited. Yet Flora had grown deaf to its music, blind to its sparkle. Like many who dwell too long in abundance, she forgot to marvel at the miracle before her. One summer, the spring fell silent. Its waters receded until only a whisper remained. In that moment of loss, Flora's heart awakened to what she had overlooked. She remembered the spring's countless gifts, the cool drink on hot days, the peaceful sound that had lulled her to sleep, the life it brought to her garden. Through this void, you discover a fundamental truth. What you appreciate appreciates. The universe responds to recognition like a flower turning toward sunlight. When you acknowledge a blessing, you amplify its presence in your life. Your attention is a beam of light that causes everything it touches to grow stronger. Among the most subtle yet powerful forces of manifestation is the art of appreciation. It serves as both invitation and preservation, calling forth new blessings while sustaining those already present. Like a farmer who tends his crops with daily care, your conscious gratitude nurtures the seeds of abundance. In a grand concert hall, a renowned musician once broke tradition by applauding his audience before beginning his performance. The unexpected gesture created a circle of appreciation that transformed the evening. As he honored those who came to listen, they returned his recognition tenfold. The music that followed reached heights that neither performer nor audience had experienced before. The hall itself seemed to vibrate with shared joy, each note amplified by mutual acknowledgement. This tale mirrors your own opportunity. Every moment of appreciation creates a ripple that returns multiplied. When you pause to recognize beauty, more beauty finds its way to you. When you celebrate abundance, abundance celebrates you in return. The cycle becomes self-sustaining, each grateful thought magnetizing greater reasons for gratitude. Ancient wisdom teaches that appreciation is not merely a response to good fortune, it is the very force that sustains it. Like breath gives life to the body, appreciation gives life to experience. It transforms ordinary moments into sacred exchanges with the universe. Each thank you becoming a seed for future blessings. Sacred practice. Whisper your thanks after every pleasant moment, no matter how small. Let gratitude become your constant companion, sealing each joy into an ongoing echo. This practice transforms fleeting pleasures into permanent treasures, creating an unbroken chain of appreciation that attracts ever-growing blessings. Chapter 20. The Intention Behind Silence. In the mountains lived a merchant named Hank, known throughout the valley for his ceaseless chatter. His words flowed like a river in spring flood, rushing to fill every moment of silence. When customers entered his shop, he spoke endlessly of his wares, of the weather, of distant news, anything to prevent the dreaded quiet from settling in. One day, an old sage visited his shop, saying nothing, only smiling and nodding as Hank's words tumbled forth. After what seemed an eternity of one-sided conversation, the sage raised his hand. "The universe speaks in silence," he said softly. "But how can we hear when we fill every space with noise?" The teaching reveals an ancient truth. Silence is not emptiness, but fullness. It is the canvas upon which all creation paints itself, the space where inspiration dawns. Your thoughts, like seeds, need stillness to take root. When you resist quiet moments, you resist the very power that brings your desires into form. This silence is not absence. It is presence in its purest form. It is the space between breaths where transformation occurs, the pause between heartbeats where life renews itself. In these sacred intervals, the universe whispers its secrets to those patient enough to listen. There once was a sculptor who spent months before a block of marble, simply sitting in silence. Other artists mocked his apparent idleness, but he remained still, listening. "I must hear the form within before I can release it," he would say. When finally his hands touched the stone, he worked with unwavering certainty, for in the silence he had seen the finished work with perfect clarity. Just as the sculptor removed only what was not the statue, you need only remove the noise that is not your truth. The masterpiece of your life already exists within the silence. Your role is not to create it, but to reveal it by clearing away what obscures it. This is the paradox of manifestation. Sometimes the strongest action is non-action. The clearest speech is silence. The surest path is stillness. The universe does not need your constant direction. It needs your trust, your allowing, your receptive awareness. To practice this ancient art of listening, choose one sunrise each week. Find a quiet place where you can sit undisturbed. As the first light touches the horizon, let your thoughts settle like leaves falling in still water. Make no effort to speak, to ask, or to direct. Simply be present, allowing the wordless wisdom of dawn to fill you. In this sacred silence, feel how blessings naturally arise, how clarity emerges, how guidance appears, not through seeking, but through receptivity. Through this practice, you discover that silence is not something you create. It is something you allow. It is the natural state beneath all noise, the fertile void from which all possibilities emerge. In embracing these moments of quiet communion, you align with the creative force that has birthed galaxies. Your practice. Each week, greet one sunrise in complete silence. Let the dawn light find you still and receptive, a living vessel for universal wisdom. In this wordless communion, experience how blessings naturally unfold. requiring no effort, no speech, only your presence and awareness. Part 3. The Mastery of Vibration. Chapter 21. The Pulse of Purpose. Long ago, in a coastal village, lived a young woman named Ivy. Each morning she would wake before dawn, her mind already racing with lists of tasks and obligations. Though she worked diligently, something felt misaligned, as if she were playing the wrong notes in life's grand symphony. Ivy filled her days with what others deemed important: ledgers to balance, meetings to attend, expectations to meet. Yet beneath the busy surface of her life stirred an unnamed longing, like distant music carried on the wind. The truth you now uncover is this: purpose does not announce itself through duty or demand. It whispers through joy, through the moments when time seems to dissolve and your energy expands. Your authentic path reveals itself not through what you think you should do, but through what makes your spirit hum in harmony with the universe. When you align with your true frequency, effort transforms into flow. Notice how certain activities energize you while others drain your life force. This is not coincidence, but cosmic guidance. Your purpose carries a unique vibrational signature that your soul recognizes instantly through the language of feeling. In a distant city lived a composer who had lost his way trying to write what others wanted to hear. One night, in the quiet hours, he began to hum a simple melody that rose from his heart rather than his mind. This gentle sound held more truth than all his forced compositions. As he followed this inner song, his music began touching hearts in ways his technical expertise never could. Like that composer, you carry within you a melody that is yours alone to share. When you attune to this inner resonance, the universe conspires to amplify your song. Your purpose is not a destination, but a frequency, one that feels like coming home to yourself. The simple practice that unlocks this wisdom requires only that you pause each day and hum softly, letting the vibration arise naturally from your center. As you continue this practice, you'll notice certain tones feel more aligned than others. This is your soul's way of guiding you home through the language of resonance. Practice. Each morning, find a quiet moment to hum softly, allowing the tone to emerge naturally. Notice which vibrations bring a sense of peace and rightness. Continue until you feel serenity confirming your connection to your true rhythm. Chapter 22. The Alchemy of Thought. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Bennett sat each morning beneath his weathered awning, counting his misfortunes instead of his coins. "Another day of empty stalls," he would mutter, watching potential customers pass by. His words hung heavy in the air, and true to their weight, his predictions manifested with precise accuracy. The power you hold rests in the invisible laboratory of your mind. Like the ancient alchemists who transformed base metals into gold, your thoughts possess the ability to transmute circumstances through the heat of focused attention and the catalyst of emotion. Consider that every thought carries a specific frequency, a vibrational signature that ripples through the fabric of reality. When you maintain a thought with emotional intensity, you initiate a process of transformation that begins in the unseen realm and gradually materializes in your visible world. In the depths of your consciousness lies an alchemist's furnace. Each thought you feed into this sacred fire undergoes a metamorphosis. Negative thoughts, sustained by fear or doubt, produce experiences that match their frequency. Yet the same furnace, when filled with thoughts of possibility and wonder, transforms circumstances into gold. In a small village lived a baker named Sophia, who inherited her grandmother's bread shop. The first loaves she baked emerged bitter and dense. Rather than blame the ingredients or the oven, she began whispering blessings into each batch of dough. "This bread carries love," she would say, infusing her words with genuine feeling. Gradually the bread transformed, becoming light and sweet, drawing people from miles around to taste what they called miracle loaves. The truth revealed in Sophia's story mirrors your own potential. The ingredients of your life, circumstances, relationships, opportunities, respond to the quality of thought you need into them. When you shift your mental tone from criticism to blessing, reality itself begins to soften and sweeten. Your thoughts are not mere observers of reality, but active participants in its creation. Every situation you encounter is malleable, waiting to be reshaped by the power of your focused intention combined with elevated emotion. Ancient practice. Sit quietly for a moment and notice a complaint arising in your mind. As it forms, catch it mid-thought and consciously transform it into a blessing. For example, "This traffic is terrible" becomes, "This delay gives me time to center myself." Observe how the energy around you shifts with each transformation. Practice this mental alchemy throughout your day, watching as your outer world begins to mirror your transmuted thoughts. Chapter 23. The Radiance of Self-Love. In a village among ancient hills lived a weaver named Mabel, known for creating the most intricate tapestries anyone had ever seen. Yet each time she gazed upon her work, her eyes would drift to the imperfections, the loose thread here, the slightly uneven pattern there. Even as others marveled at her masterpieces, she saw only flaws, measuring her creations against impossible standards of perfection. The habit of comparison dims your inner light. When you stand before the mirror of life, judging yourself against others' perceived perfection, you scatter the very energy that could manifest your desires. Your thoughts of inadequacy create ripples that disturb the surface of possibility, distorting the reflection of your true potential. The universe responds not to what you achieve, but to the frequency you maintain. Each moment spent in self-criticism transmits a signal that multiplies, drawing more experiences that confirm your perceived unworthiness. Yet this same principle holds the key to your liberation, for self-love radiates with such potency that it transforms not only your own field, but touches everything within its reach. In the mountains lived a wise woman who kept a mirror said to show one's true essence. Those who came seeking its wisdom often arrived with trepidation, expecting to face their deepest flaws. A young dancer approached one day, her shoulders heavy with self-judgment. As she stood before the mirror, she raised her hand to point out her imperfections, but the wise woman gently stopped her. "Speak only words of blessing to your reflection," she instructed. "For 7 days, let no criticism pass your lips." The dancer followed these instructions, though at first her words felt hollow. Each morning she would stand before the mirror, whispering words of appreciation for her strength, her grace, even the features she had once criticized. By the 7th day, something extraordinary occurred. The harsh lines of judgment had melted from her face, replaced by a gentle radiance that seemed to illuminate the entire room. This tale speaks directly to your journey. The mirror does not create what you see. It reveals how you see. When you shift from criticism to blessing, you alter the very frequency of your being. Self-love is not vanity. It is the fundamental tone that harmonizes your entire vibrational field with the universe's natural abundance. Your practice. Each morning, stand before your mirror. Place your hand upon your heart and speak these words to your reflection. You are the miracle. Let this truth resonate until you see your eyes begin to glow with inner recognition. This is not mere affirmation. It is the remembrance of your original nature, the frequency of pure being that attracts all good things. Chapter 24. The Memory of the Future. High in the mountains, a merchant named Owen spent his days dreaming of sailing distant seas. Each evening he would climb to his rooftop, close his eyes, and let the mountain winds become ocean breezes. In time, the scent of salt water seemed to fill his lungs, though the nearest shore lay hundreds of miles away. The power to manifest lies not in mere thinking, but in the art of feeling your desires into being. When you enter the theater of your mind, you must become both the director and the lead actor in the story of your transformation. The universe responds not to casual wishes, but to scenes so vivid they leave impressions upon your soul. Your imagination is the sacred workshop where reality is first molded. Here, in the quiet sanctuary of your mind, you hold the power to rehearse the life you wish to live. As you sit in stillness, allow yourself to step fully into the scene of your desires. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, breathe in the aromas of your chosen reality. Let your body respond as though your dream were unfolding now. This is not mere fantasy. It is the blueprint from which the universe builds. When you imagine with such clarity that your nervous system believes the experience is real, you transmit a frequency that must be matched in physical form. The gap between vision and manifestation closes with each deeply felt rehearsal. In a distant valley lived a potter who understood this truth. Each morning before touching clay, she would sit with eyes closed, feeling the perfect vessel taking shape beneath her hands. She experienced every sensation: the smooth coolness of the clay, the steady rhythm of the wheel, the satisfaction of achieving perfect balance. When she finally opened her eyes to work, her hands moved with the certainty of one who had already completed the task. The art of visualization is not about forcing or straining, but about allowing yourself to sink so deeply into your chosen scene that it feels like a memory rather than a hope. Your body should relax into it naturally, as though returning to a familiar home. This is how you plant the seeds of manifestation in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. Daily practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and enter the scene of your desired life. Notice every detail, the colors, sounds, textures, and emotions present in this reality. Let your body respond as though it were happening now. Breathe in the experience until tension melts away, and your nervous system accepts it as truth. Remain in this state for several minutes, allowing the feeling to saturate every cell. Practice this nightly until the desired scene feels as natural as a remembered experience. He nightly revisits his dream scene until body relaxes as though already there. Chapter 25. The Harmony of Relationships. In a bustling marketplace, a young woman named Clara stood behind her flower stall, wondering why each relationship in her life seemed to mirror the same struggles. Day after day, she arranged her blossoms with care, yet noticed how certain customers repeatedly haggled over prices while others gladly paid more than she asked. As seasons passed, she began to see that it wasn't the flowers that determined these interactions, but something far more subtle. The law of attraction operates with pristine precision in matters of the heart. You draw to yourself not merely people, but living reflections of your own vibrational state. Each person in your life serves as a mirror, revealing the frequency you maintain. When you understand this truth, relationships transform from sources of confusion into powerful tools for self-discovery and mutual elevation. Just as a tuning fork will cause another of the same frequency to vibrate in harmony, your energy field creates resonance with those who match its tone. This explains why patterns repeat across different relationships until you alter your own vibration. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, continues to present these mirrors until you recognize your role in their creation. Consider the tale of two merchants who shared a wall between their shops. The first spent his days complaining about slow business, while the second expressed gratitude for each customer. Soon their shops began to reflect these attitudes, one growing quieter while the other flourished. Neither realized they were engaged in a dance of energy, each creating their reality through the power of their focus. This brings us to the deeper truth. Relationships are not random encounters, but precisely orchestrated opportunities for growth. Every interaction offers a chance to witness your own frequency in action. When you meet resistance in others, look within to find where you resist yourself. When you experience judgment, examine where you judge yourself. The outer world faithfully mirrors your inner state. A wise woman once lived in a mountain village, known for her ability to bring peace to troubled hearts. Visitors would arrive with stories of conflict, seeking solutions to their relationships. Instead of offering advice, she would light a candle and place it before a mirror. "See how the flame doubles?" she would say, "yet try to separate the reflection from its source." Through this simple demonstration, she taught that all relationships reflect our relationship with ourselves. The path to harmonious relationships begins with understanding this mirrored nature of reality. As you elevate your own vibration through self-love and appreciation, you naturally attract connections that match this higher frequency. Like attracts like, not by external qualities, but by internal resonance. Practice. Find a quiet moment each evening and envision every person in your life surrounded by a gentle, understanding light. See this radiance dissolving old patterns of discord, replacing them with pure harmony. Feel your own energy field expanding with compassion, knowing that as you transform your inner landscape, your outer relationships must follow suit. Let this visualization serve as a reset button for all your connections, allowing fresh energy to flow between you and others. Chapter 26. The Breath of Presence. In a seaside village, Eugene spent his days scanning the horizon for storm clouds. Each morning he would check weather reports obsessively, his mind creating tempests long before they materialized. The fisherman noticed how he paced the docks, shoulders tense with anticipated disasters, while perfect sailing days passed him by unused. The present moment holds a power that neither past nor future can claim. When you anchor yourself in the eternal now through conscious breathing, you tap into the universe's infinite creative force. This connection dissolves anxiety about tomorrow and regret about yesterday, revealing the truth that all power resides in this singular point of presence. Your breath serves as a bridge between the temporal and timeless. Each inhalation draws in universal life force. Each exhalation releases what no longer serves. This rhythmic exchange exists as nature's gift, a constant reminder that life flows not in years but in breaths. The ancient wisdom teaches that worry is simply misplaced attention. When thoughts scatter toward imagined futures, the breath gently guides them back to now. Here, in this moment, you possess all the resources needed to meet any situation. The future arrives not in overwhelming waves, but in manageable moments, each accompanied by its own breath of divine support. Consider the tale of a mountaineer named Thomas who faced an unexpected blizzard near a treacherous summit. As winds howled and visibility dropped, his initial panic threatened to overwhelm him. Yet in that crucial moment, he remembered the teaching of his old guide. When the mountain rages, become the calm at its center. Through deliberate, measured breaths, Thomas found his center. With each inhale, he drew in strength. With each exhale, he released fear. The storm continued unchanged, but within him, peace prevailed. Step by step, breath by breath, he made his way to safety. This story illuminates an essential truth. External circumstances hold no power over your internal state unless you surrender your breath to them. By maintaining conscious breathing, you establish an unwavering core of tranquility that external storms cannot disturb. Practice. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Begin breathing slowly and rhythmically, imagining that each breath connects you to the eternal stream of now. Feel how each inhale brings the universe into your body, and each exhale carries you deeper into present moment awareness. As thoughts of past or future arise, simply return to the breath. Continue this practice for several minutes, experiencing how each breath realigns your energy with the power of now. Chapter 27. The Symphony of Co-Creation. Once in a mountain village lived a weaver named Hazel who prided herself on her solitary craft. Each morning she would rise before dawn, determined to prove her independence through sheer will alone. Though her work was skilled, her tapestries remained somehow incomplete, lacking a certain vibrancy that she couldn't quite capture. When you endeavor alone, you carry an unnecessary burden. The universe stands ready as your eternal partner, waiting to infuse your efforts with divine energy and perfect timing. This sacred collaboration begins the moment you acknowledge that all creation is co-creation. The law of attraction operates not as a servant to your commands, but as a divine dance partner in the eternal waltz of manifestation. Your role is to take inspired action while remaining open to universal guidance. When you resist this partnership, you cut yourself off from the very force designed to lift you toward your desires. In a distant valley lived two singers whose story mirrors this truth. Each had performed alone for years until chance brought them together one autumn evening. The first singer possessed technical perfection, but lacked soul. The second had passion, but struggled with precision. As they began to sing together, something magical occurred. Their voices wove together in perfect harmony, creating music more beautiful than either could produce alone. They discovered that by surrendering to the partnership, both became stronger. This parable illuminates a fundamental truth. When you align your individual effort with universal flow, you activate forces beyond your visible reach. Just as the singers found their true expression through collaboration, your creations reach their highest potential when you acknowledge and embrace your partnership with the universe. Your willingness to co-create opens channels through which divine assistance can flow. Every project, every dream, every aspiration gains momentum when you recognize that you are supported by forces seen and unseen. The universe responds not to demands, but to invitation, to the gentle acknowledgement that you are ready to work in harmony with its infinite wisdom. Ancient practice. Before beginning any endeavor, create a sacred moment of connection. Place your hand over your heart and speak these words with sincere intention. We do this together. Feel the shift as you invoke your unseen collaborators. Let this simple ritual remind you that you are never truly alone in your creative process. The universe stands ready as your eternal partner, waiting to infuse your efforts with divine energy and perfect timing. Chapter 28. The Gift of the Unknown. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Virgil arranged his wares with meticulous precision each morning. He measured success by his ability to predict and control every detail of his trade. When customers deviated from his expected patterns or supplies arrived at unexpected times, anxiety would grip his heart like a vice. His need for certainty had become a prison of his own making. What you perceive as chaos holds within it an intelligence far greater than human planning could devise. The universe operates through perfect order, though its ways may appear mysterious to earthly eyes. When you release your grip on knowing every step ahead, you open yourself to guidance that transcends your limited vision. The law of attraction works not through rigid control, but through trust in divine timing. Your acceptance of uncertainty creates space for miracles that your careful plans could never imagine. Each moment of not knowing serves as an invitation to expand beyond the boundaries of what you believe possible. Like water finding its path down a mountain, abundance flows most freely when you allow it to chart its own course. Your role is not to direct every droplet, but to maintain the clarity of your desire while remaining open to unexpected channels of fulfillment. In the ancient port city of Azure, there lived a sailor named Marcus who mastered the art of navigation, not by fighting the unknown, but by embracing it. Though others mocked him for setting sail at noon when no stars were visible, he understood that guidance remained constant, whether seen or unseen. His greatest discoveries came not from charted courses, but from trusting the invisible currents that led him to shores more magnificent than any he had imagined. Just as Marcus found his way by trusting what he could not see, you are being led by forces beyond your current perception. Every uncertainty in your path is not an obstacle, but a doorway to greater understanding. The very questions that unsettle you are shaping your expansion into new realms of possibility. The practice of embracing mystery. Each dawn, find a quiet moment as the sun rises. Place your hand upon your heart and whisper your gratitude for all that is forming beautifully beyond your sight. Say with gentle certainty, "Thank you for the unseen gifts being woven into my life. I trust in perfect unfolding." Let this practice remind you that the unknown is not your enemy, but your ally in creation. Chapter 29. The Quiet Radiance of Faith. In a village among mist-shrouded mountains lived a woman named June, who tended a small shop of medicinal herbs. Each morning she would climb the winding path to gather plants before sunrise, guided only by starlight. One autumn, an unusually long period of darkness descended upon the village. Thick clouds obscured both sun and stars for weeks on end. The villagers grew anxious, hoarding supplies and closing their shutters against the gloom. But June continued her dawn journeys, feeling her way along familiar paths with unwavering certainty. When others questioned her apparent foolishness, she simply smiled and said, "The sun still rises, whether we see it or not." The force that moves worlds requires no witness to maintain its power. Like June, you are called to cultivate an inner knowing that transcends external conditions. This knowing is not blind faith, but rather a refined attunement to the invisible currents that orchestrate all of creation. Your desires have already taken form in the realm of pure potential. The gap between conception and manifestation is bridged not by proof, but by the steady frequency of your conviction. When you maintain unwavering belief despite apparent darkness, you generate a magnetic field that draws your vision into physical reality. Consider how a seed pushes through soil before any evidence of its flowering appears above ground. It responds to an inner blueprint that requires no external validation. Similarly, your faith is the invisible force that transforms thought into form. In another village lived a candle maker who worked through the darkest winter nights, crafting luminous vessels of light. Though storms raged and windows rattled, his steady hands continued their work. "Each candle," he would say, "carries within it the memory of daylight." The villagers who received his candles found that their soft glow somehow made the darkness less daunting, as if each flame whispered, "Dawn is already decided." This simple truth echoes through your own journey. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but rather the presence of love for what is yet unseen. Like the candlemaker's flames, your belief illuminates the path ahead, not because it banishes all shadows, but because it reminds you of an eternal light that no darkness can extinguish. The shadows that seem to obscure your path are not obstacles, but opportunities to strengthen your inner vision. Each moment of uncertainty invites you to choose again between fear and faith, between doubt and devotion. When you consistently choose faith, you align with the creative force that has never needed proof to persist in its perfect unfolding. Practice. Each night, in sacred solitude, light a single candle. As its flame steadies in the stillness, whisper with quiet conviction, "My light knows the way." Let the gentle glow remind you that guidance comes not from what your eyes can see, but from what your heart knows to be true. Sit with this flame until you feel its warmth echo the unwavering faith within your own spirit. Chapter 30. The Ever-Turning Wheel. In a remote village by the sea, there lived a master craftsman who carved wooden bowls. Each morning before sunrise, he would select a piece of fallen wood from the forest's edge. His fellow villagers marveled at the perfect circles he created, yet noticed his peculiar habit. Upon completing each masterpiece, he would immediately begin another, never pausing to admire his work. The spinning of wood beneath his hands whispered ancient wisdom. Creation knows no end. As the bowl emerged from formless wood, so too did understanding spiral outward from the center of your consciousness. Within each completion, lies the seed of new beginning. The universe speaks in cycles, not lines. Your thoughts, like waves upon the shore, return transformed but familiar. Each manifestation carries forward the energy of all that came before, yet opens space for greater expansion. When you grasp this eternal dance, you cease striving for finite endpoints and embrace the joy of continuous unfoldment. Consider the moon. She never celebrates completion, for fullness flows naturally into renewal. Your creative force follows this same celestial rhythm. Each achievement is not a destination, but a doorway. Each success not a conclusion, but a curve in the infinite spiral of becoming. In distant mountains lived a shepherd who followed his flock through seasonal pastures. Year after year he traced the same paths, yet each journey revealed new wisdom. The spring meadows bloomed differently each time. The autumn winds carried fresh messages. The winter snows carved novel patterns. Though his feet walked familiar ground, his spirit climbed ever higher on the spiral of understanding. This shepherd's tale mirrors your own journey. The law of attraction operates not as a straight line, but as an ascending spiral. Each manifestation builds upon the last. Each desire rises from fulfilled wishes. Each understanding deepens previous knowledge. There is no final destination, only eternal expansion through joyful creation. When you align with this truth, urgency dissolves into appreciation. You recognize that every ending flows naturally into beginning. Every accomplishment contains the seed of greater becoming. The pressure to arrive transforms into the pleasure of eternal unfolding. Practice. As twilight approaches, find a quiet moment for reflection. Light a candle and observe its eternal dance of transformation. For each cycle completed in your life, each project, relationship, or phase, offer gratitude for its role in your expansion. Whisper, I celebrate the sacred spiral of creation moving through me. Let this recognition of continuity fill you with peaceful purpose. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Through these 30 chapters, you have walked the ancient path of manifestation, not as a seeker, but as one who remembers. The whispers of universal law have grown familiar, like the rhythm of your own heartbeat. What seemed mystical has become natural. The law of attraction no longer feels like an external force, but the very essence of your being. In these 7 days, you have witnessed the transformation of energy into form, thought into circumstance, and intention into reality. The silence you once feared now speaks volumes, carrying messages from the infinite. Your gratitude has become a magnetic force, drawing abundance naturally and effortlessly. Trust flows through your veins like liquid gold, turning mere movement into sacred dance with the universe. The patience you cultivated has revealed itself as the artist's brush, painting reality with deliberate strokes of consciousness. Joy now serves as your compass, confirming alignment with source energy. These are not merely lessons learned, but wisdom embodied, living truth that shapes every breath you take. The promise made at the beginning has manifested not through external intervention, but through your own awakening. You have remembered what your soul always knew. You are the creator of your reality. The universe never held back its treasures. It simply waited for you to vibrate in harmony with your desires. As you close these chapters, know that this is not an ending, but a spiral into expanded awareness. Every principle you've practiced now lives within you, subtly altering the fabric of your experience. The whisper of life continues its eternal truth. As you believe, so it becomes. You have remembered your power. Now create accordingly.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.